Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So today, let's talk about a common saying, but change a little bit. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. Buy the rumor, sell the news. But when it comes to Bitcoin and its upcoming Bitcoin ETF, it's buy the rumor, buy the news. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about what's going on with Bitcoin and crypto overall. And let's talk about everything else that's going on in the world today. Let's do this. Welcome, guys. As usual, the market bell going strong. And today, the U.S. market not doing so well. It could flip, but right now, opening up in the red. Bitcoin also taking a little breather. Last night, it was actually rallying last night. It was actually on up and up. Now it's coming down a little bit, although, again, when in doubt, zoom out and realize that we've been just trending upwards and upwards and upwards. And right now, we have just hit upon this resistance or slash support. So we may just be bouncing off of here. So Bitcoin is showing a little bit of retracement, but of course, yesterday after the big lawsuit, another big lawsuit going against Kraken, I'll have a little bit more to talk about with that. Alts started dipping, even though Bitcoin is still strong as ever. But before we get to those things, what else is going on today? All right, well, for this week, of course, we have Thanksgiving. Those of us in the U.S., it's coming up Thursday. Today, we have a big FOMC minutes report, and then tomorrow we got some jobless claims and durable goods order report. But today, I don't know. I don't think anything's going to come out of this, although it's always a thing. You have the FOMC meeting, which is a thing, and then you have the Fed minutes, which is a thing, but the Fed minutes should be the same thing as the FOMC meeting. But sometimes behind closed doors, they say a little bit more, or the language is a little bit different, or the tone is a little bit different, and it spooks the market sometimes. But after last FOMC meeting, basically it's the same rhetoric, like, we're going to wait and see. We don't want to be fooled by just a few months of, inflation data, but they decided not to raise rates, right? That's 2 times in a row. So most likely there's no need to raise rates any further unless somehow inflation starts skyrocketing once again. And we have seen periods before in the U.S. history where, yes, inflation peaks, comes down, and then it forms a double top, which actually gets worse. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But that's pretty much what is going to be said. I'm sure there's something in there that talks about possibly keeping rates elevated for a long period of time before thinking about cutting. But, what is that long period of time? Could be June, could be July, August, sometime next year. It's going to happen. They're not going to leave rates up this high forever because it's going to put a lot of economic down pressure, right? And that's not what we want as a country, especially since we're broke as a country. We need more money. We need people to make money, be able to collect the tax dollars from those people, right? So, yeah, that's coming up. We'll see what the Fed minutes say. Maybe, there's off chance maybe, the Fed governor says something horrible. Like, hey, maybe we are going to raise rates again. I just don't see what else they could say in here that's so hawkish that will scare the market. But you know what? That's why the market is reacting the way it is right now. Okay, so with the macro stuff out of the way, let's talk about some bullish things. First of all, Willy Woo, who is a big analyst, has been around for a long time. And I say big analyst because he has a large following. A lot of people do pay attention to what Willy Woo says. And according to this indicator, which he created, Bitcoin cost basis density map, according to this, see, the thing is you always have to put like an asterisk to it. Basically, he's saying if this holds true, basically this is just measuring where all the volumes are, right? Like where people start buying. It almost looks like he's shading this in by hand, but not really. But basically, he's saying this is true. Bitcoin will never, ever, ever see less than 30,000 again. Okay? That's it. No more. We're not going to see sub 30,000 ever again, according to Willy Woo. Okay, and this is, again, according to the users, a volume, right? And you can basically see the dense volumes. That's where it's labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We passed 8. We're going into 9, which is getting up to the halving event. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, 30,000 is not too far off from where we are. And I don't expect us to ever go below 30,000. But, if you think about it, it's only about 20-something%. And we have seen dips, even during bullish parabolic rises, more than 20-something%. Easy. But if you look at some of our lowest lows, are we going to see 15,000 again? What we saw earlier this year in January. No, I don't believe we'll ever see 15,000 again. Are we going to see 3,100 again or 3,800? Previous lows from 2020 and 2018. No, I don't think we'll see those numbers ever again, right? So this is what happens with every single run. After this next run leading up to peak in 2025, we're going to come back down again. And who knows, at that point, our low may be like 40,000. 45,000, right? And then we could say, yeah, we'll never see 15,000 again. Or we could say we'll never see 30,000 again, right? That's just how it works. Just imagine that. The next low, the next bottom of the next cycle could be higher than where Bitcoin is now. Just think about that for a second. Okay. Now, beyond this, what else is there? Pantera Capital CEO makes this argument that we should buy the rumor and buy the news. Okay? Usually it's buy the rumor, sell the news. And he even made a point about this in his long X thread. How CME futures, when it launched in 2017, peak of 2017, Bitcoin went down dramatically, right? So obviously a sign of buy the rumor, sell the news. And some argue that Bitcoin's bubble was burst because of futures introduction. Even the former SEC chair, Jay Clayton, said that Bitcoin futures was rushed out on purpose to burst Bitcoin's bubble. He has gone on record and said that. This is how scared they were of Bitcoin back in 2017. They didn't know how to control it. SEC didn't know how to control it. So what they did was allow Bitcoin futures to take place. You can make the argument that Bitcoin would have come down anyways because that was the peak of the cycle. But he specifically came out and said that's why they approved futures so fast to try to pop Bitcoin's bubble. So obviously that's a sign of buy the rumor, sell the news, right? And then you had Coinbase listing. Coinbase, when it came out, also its stock pumped up to the moon, right? Again, that was like not at peak of 2021, but pretty close in 2021. Obviously, we know that 2022 was a bad year, so you can make an argument that Coinbase stock would have gone down anyways, regardless of this chart, right? But still, it happened. So he's making a case. You have two very hyped up scenarios that should have been really good and pumped Bitcoin more, but it ended up being bad, right? And the second one, Coinbase, has nothing to do with Bitcoin falling. So again, that doesn't really apply. But you just try to make an argument. But he's saying, with Bitcoin ETFs, though, it's different. It's different because neither of those events had any impact on real-world access to Bitcoin. See, that is true. That's why, okay? That's why this time around it's different. It's buy the rumor, buy the news. This is different. A BlackRock ETF fundamentally changes access to Bitcoin. It will have a huge positive impact. And I agree. And they're not launching at the peak of 2025. If a spot Bitcoin ETF was launched, let's say, I don't know, October or November 2025 at peak, then I could see how there may be a sell-off afterward, just like futures when it was introduced. But no, we're not getting it at peak. We're getting it in 2024. Yeah, and I think most of these fund managers all can agree, whether they like Bitcoin or not, is that Bitcoin spot ETF will just open up. It's just another avenue for institutional investors to come in. That's really it. Okay, and this avenue is huge. It's like a 100-lane highway. Bitcoin spot ETFs in general are just absolutely huge. They have a tremendous market cap. A lot of fund managers, pension funds, retirement funds, hedge funds, obviously. That's all they do is look at ETFs, and it's going to bring in so much liquidity into this space, unlike anything we have ever seen before. Okay, futures, Bitcoin futures, really has nothing to do with Bitcoin other than tracks Bitcoin's price, but it's all settled in cash. There's no trading of Bitcoin. There's no buying of Bitcoin, none whatsoever. But with spot Bitcoin ETFs, completely different. Buy the rumor, buy the news, according to Dan Moorhead. And I agree, totally agree. And of course, I just got done talking about inflation. Bitcoin is beating inflation if you hold on to it long enough. I mean, this is no-brainer, okay? The longer you hold on to Bitcoin, the more you make. Nothing has outperformed Bitcoin, including inflation. Even inflation didn't outperform Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up like 1,000,000% over the last 10 years. Nothing is close, and I don't think anything's going to change. Okay, now short term, you could see some red. Of course, there are some people that bought from top, right, and held it to the bottom. So yeah, they're not outperforming inflation if you look at it that way. But right now, as it stands, 80% of Bitcoin holders are in the green. 80%, and that number will only diminish as Bitcoin's price goes back up towards $69,000. But 80% are already in the green. And after the cycle, people will notice. People will all notice that Bitcoin is the big daddy. It's the asset people want to hold, and there's no looking back, or there's no second best. There is a second best. I take that back. All right. So as for Bitcoin, short term, this is what it looks like. Basically, we're trending upwards. There may be a down dip, like what we're seeing right now, and then shoot right back up to 39,000. Keep in mind, nothing goes up forever in a linear line. There will be up and downs. There always is up and downs. Okay, so if you're discouraged by today's activity, please don't be, okay? Because like I've been showing you guys, we've been trending upwards and upwards and upwards and upwards, and this is no time to be discouraged by such a small dip. Okay, we are at the cusp of something greatness, and you don't want to be scared out with a little dip like what we're seeing, especially since Bitcoin was lower even last week, right? Things are still moving according to plan. And what is the plan, you may ask? Well, the plan is this: the halving event, cutting of the inflation rate, okay, every single time. Except in 2016, there was a little dip after the halving event. But all the other times after the halving event, boom, you have upwards movement, okay? And we're getting closer and closer and closer and closer to it. Less than 5 months away. And then you compound that price action with spot Bitcoin ETF approvals. That's going to be enormous. That's the plan. That's the plan. That's why we hold it. And here's something else. I mean, look at, this is not from the bottom. This is just the multiplier from the halving event. Of course, there will be a diminishing effect. Okay. Bitcoin can't do a 94x from here. At least not with this cycle. Maybe after a few cycles, it could still do a 94x, but not this cycle. But you could see 94x from the halving event, then 30x from the halving event, 6x from the halving event. What will it be this time around? And also, it also depends on where we are about a halving event. If Bitcoin is already at, let's say, 70,000, let's say our previous high already. Okay, let's just go down a little bit. Let's say 60,000. So we're close to the previous high, but we're not quite there. It's just kind of like the previous cycles. You know, you only have to do a 4x to go up to 240,000. So it still makes sense. You still have diminishing returns. So even going from a 6x to 4x, yeah, it's a little bit smaller. But if we're at 60,000 by the halving event, I don't think anyone's going to be complaining that we're going to do a 4x from 60,000 to 240,000, right? Even if we did a 3x from 60,000, we'll still be at 180,000. I'm not going to be complaining. I don't think anyone's going to be complaining, okay, at 180,000 Bitcoin. So that is according to plan. That's still in the works. All right. Outside of Bitcoin, what else is there? There was a lot of FUD news yesterday, obviously, guys. Binance being extorted for $4 billion, basically. And now people are tracking the wallet movement, and people see that Binance already moved 3.9 billion USDT into some unknown wallet. So, and this was before the report about how they were being extorted for $4 billion from the U.S. Department of Justice. So they may be getting ready to pay, right? To just settle it once and for all. So clear the air. I mean, honestly, $4 billion for Binance is nothing. I'm pretty sure they probably have over 100 billion just sitting there in their treasury. CZ is one of the richest men on earth. So I think he's going to just pay this to get over with. And plus, the Department of Justice wants this to be over with because they're trying to go after a foreign company with a foreign citizen that they really have no jurisdiction over. So it makes no sense. So this may be over soon. And this is why BNB is actually rallying and why people think this is very bullish. Because, again, it's another attack on crypto that doesn't make quite a whole lot of sense, and it may be over soon. So that's good. That's good. And Binance chain transactions have spiked recently, too. And I've noticed it. I mean, it's across the board. I showed this the other day on Avalanche. Avalanche transactions just spiking up to the moon. I mean, I'm sure if you look at like Solana chain, they're all spiking to the moon right now because of the increased activity right now. Everyone FOMO'd, everyone's feeling good, right? So, of course, number of transactions are going to go up. So, makes sense. Makes sense. Now, the other one is the SEC attacking Kraken, right? And, of course, Kraken does not approve, does not agree, right? Their lawyer basically says we strongly disagree with SEC claims, stand firm in our views that we do not list securities, and plan to rigorously defend our position. Okay. You know, the funny thing is the SEC already extorted Kraken for $30 million based on staking, and supposedly staking is illegal. Okay. It's considered a security. You're supposed to register that. You know, Coinbase still has staking, I believe. Well, some states don't, but for most part, even they still have staking. They're like, screw that. We don't recognize it. We don't recognize staking as a security, which it shouldn't be. You know, staking, you're staking because you're helping power the network. It's utility. It's a utility. So it's built in that by helping to power the network, you're getting rewarded for that, right? But it's a utility. So anyways, SEC and Gary thinks that that's a security. That constitutes as security. So you need to register. So that's why they sued Kraken. Kraken doesn't have the lawyers or the treasury like Coinbase. So they couldn't fight it. They admitted wrongdoing. Or they didn't admit wrongdoing, but they paid a $30 million fee. But you got to figure at that point, SEC already did their due diligence. If they thought Kraken was selling securities, why didn't they just sue for everything then, right? Why didn't they sue them for everything else? Why not then? Why now, right? That's the thing. There's no way you could say that, oh, within the last 9 months they just discovered this. No. I mean, they knew this was happening all along. So the timing of it, very, very particular. Maybe this is an excuse for them to drag on the ETF approval until later in 2024, but someone picked up the phone and told Gary, hey, go make this happen? Maybe it's BlackRock. Maybe it's BlackRock themselves because they want a little bit more FUD so that they can accumulate more. Or maybe it could be one of the other large fund managers. We don't know. We don't know. But it just seems weird that this comes out right now, right when Binance is about to settle. And it could also be because of that. Because whoever is in charge thinks that crypto needs to be under attack. Maybe it's just Gary. I take that back. Maybe it's not even someone above Gary. Maybe it's just Gary that's thinking, well, there's too much. The crypto community is winning too much. So we need to strike back with something else, with another lawsuit. I don't know. I don't know who's pulling the strings here. If it's just Gary himself or it's someone above Gary, you know, or someone above whoever's above Gary, like BlackRock, that's pulling the strings, right? But one good thing out of this is Ripple or XRP was not named a security in the latest filing against Kraken. They didn't specifically say you're selling securities like XRP because the SEC can no longer say that. They can't say Bitcoin or Ethereum, even Ethereum, they can't say, and they can't say XRP either now. There's very little that they can't say, but there's 3. So if there was another spot Bitcoin ETF application behind Ethereum, if there was another crypto that fund managers may want to launch an ETF with, it's probably going to be XRP, but probably not going to come anytime soon. All right, so that's pretty much it. U.S. market is still tanking ahead of the Fed minutes. And then Bitcoin is taking a little breather, a little bit of dump. That's okay. Small dumps are okay. They drive out people. They drive out retail investors and whales and long-term holders. Just accumulate more and DCA more. Remember, when in doubt, when this looks nasty, when in doubt, zoom out and you're like, okay. Yeah, we were at 35 here, and we were at like 34 here, and we were at like 34, 33, 32. When in doubt, zoom out. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, let's see here. Jose says, going to be a sad Thanksgiving if we keep dumping. No matter where we dump to, okay, it's a greater Thanksgiving than, well, I don't know. I don't know where Bitcoin was at 2022 Thanksgiving, but I'm pretty sure it was lower than 36,000, right? So it'll be better than last Thanksgiving. It would be better if Bitcoin was at 30. I mean, again, no one should be complaining about 36,000 Bitcoin, okay? Even though we're not, our top was 37.8 or 37.9. So it's not like we're so far off from there. We're not dumping like 20% today, okay? So we're still near all-time high for this year for Bitcoin. So it's not going to be a sad Thanksgiving, Jose. Let's see. Just a okay, see, this is a good attitude. I'm my hero. Just a pre-Black Friday sale. That's right. And if Bitcoin happens to drop on Thanksgiving, well, then you got your Black Friday sale. Stop spending money on things that you don't need and start spending money on things that are important, like Bitcoin. Dark. Yeah, I don't know anything about BitSense or Tau. I'm sorry. Can't comment on that. Life in China with Patrick. Greetings from China. Are you doing a You do a vlog in China? Or are you living there? Welcome. Dark Knight says, dump more. Keep dumping more. Smiley Bikini says, dump please so I could buy more. See, that's the way. You guys know the George way, right? You guys know the true way. When the market is going down, learn to embrace it. Learn to love it, because that means you could cost average and you could buy crypto at a discount. We know DCA works. It's proven that it works. Many of you guys know that 100% that it works. 80% of Bitcoin holders are in the green. Those that have DCA'd from the bottom are well in the green. And many portfolios are back in the green despite holding a lot of alts. Even my DCA portfolio was so close to hitting green. I don't know if we're going to get into green tomorrow because things have dumped down a little bit, but it shows you DCA works. That's why. When we do go down, great time to be DCA and cost average. Bring your cost average down. That's the only thing that really matters. For the DGen, Snek and Hosky are the top 2 Cardano meme coins. Yeah, but neither one are doing good, Hosky fan. That's the thing. Neither one, like you figure, like someone like Snek should be like rallying upwards after the recent climb, but they really didn't. 20 million. And Hosky, let's see, yeah, way lower. So I don't think Hosky, you might want to change your name. OG. So the banks can give you an interest rate for using your money, and that is legal. But crypto companies doing it is illegal. Yes. And banks, you know, they're able to do that because they're being supported by FDIC and the Federal Reserve, right? So basically, the whole system is corrupt. And it's a Ponzi scheme. It really is. So yes, OG. Now you're getting it. Now you're getting it. Rick Maxey, no, it's buy the rumor, buy the news. I just talked about it. You tuned in late, so don't tell me I'm a bit confused because you missed my whole spiel. And plus, Pantera Capital CEO also agrees. No, I'm not going to be streaming Thanksgiving. That would be ridiculous. Greetings from Connecticut. What do you think about Pit Network? It came out yesterday. Does it have a future? I don't like any oracles besides Chainlink. So that's it. Pit Network came out. I think it launched on Solana. You know, all these chains that have their own oracles, eventually they all integrate into Chainlink because Chainlink is just too big to ignore. So, Papa Bear Studios, I killed alts. It was me. Finally bought. Wow, you actually came out of being Bitcoin maxi. That's okay, man. That's okay. It always feels like that. As soon as you make a move that the market just moves against you, everyone feels the same way. But stick with it, just like with Bitcoin. Stick with it, DCA, and you'll be just fine. You know, let's check my leverage from yesterday. My Solana, unfortunately, closed out. I did set a 50% loss, so it closed out. That I knew that one was too aggressive. I accidentally changed it to 25x. Avalanche 5x doing okay. Still plus 10%. Plus $9 out of 100. Not bad. My Bitcoin one, 20x, still doing good. Although last night was like plus 800, so you could argue I should have closed out then. But I'm just going to leave these. Today is just a really good day to be DCAing. Not to say today's a good day for leveraging. But it is a good day to be DCAing for sure. And Bitcoin seems to be doing just that. I think it's go bounce off of here and then come back. I mean, it's go recover back above here. I mean, today is a good day to DCA. Today, the only thing really that's in the green is BNB because of the potential settlement with the SEC. No, with the Department of Justice. But, you know, if you think about it, a lot of these are still so strong. Like Avalanche, for example, is still above 21. They went on a ferocious run recently. Solana, despite being so weak right now, 54, still, they were in the 30s just like a few weeks ago. Ethereum is still at 2,000. You know, I still remember the months where Ethereum was hovering around 1,500, 1,400, 1,500. So, I mean, those are just months ago. We're not even talking about last year. So despite all this red you're seeing, that's just a little retracement. Just a little retracement, and does not negate all the gains that we had just in the last 2 months. Just the last 2 months. October and Pumpvember. And then we're going to have December. I don't even know what to call it. Moonvember. No, December. Moonsember? I don't know what to call December. Any word on your Cybertruck pre-order? No. I don't think I'm going to get that until 2025. I don't think anyone's even going to get it in 2024, to be honest. It seems like they have major problems with the Cybertruck. It's really hard for them to produce. It's really hard to get the panels right. The body gaps are just out of control. Bullsember. That sounds pretty good. What are you DCAing in other than Bitcoin? Everything else I've been mentioning. You should tune in Wednesday night. I've been DCAing into that DCA portfolio for quite a long time. You know all the L1s that I like. Ron says, I don't like the logarithmic price scales. It alters price realities. What do you mean by that? You mean the diminishing returns? Can't afford a DCA December. Hardest time of the year. Do you mean because you have to buy a lot of gifts? Maybe buy a little bit less for yourself. Spend a little bit less for Black Friday and use that money for DCAing. You know, if you think about it, this is how I've been thinking about it recently. Of course, I still spend money, but like, let's say you want to spend $10,000 on something. You want to go on a family vacation, or you want to buy a new, I don't know, new high-end TV with a sound system or whatever, or you want to buy a watch, whatever it could be. $10,000, which is a lot of money. But if you simply hold that and you not spend it, and say you bought Bitcoin with it instead, okay, then you think, well, if Bitcoin goes up maybe a 5x, 6x from our current levels, that $10,000 becomes $50,000 or $60,000 by the end of 2025. So even though you don't get what you want right now, short term, if you simply wait 2 years, now you have $50,000 or $60,000 to spend money on whatever you want, right? And if you look at it that way, it kind of reinforces the notion like, yeah, you should not spend and DCA more, right? Like the motivation is there. Like, why would I want to spend that money now when it could be 5x higher in just 2 years, which there's no other asset that can appreciate like that, right? So if you think about it that way, it'll help you spend less on things that you don't need. And this includes everyday things, like if you're thinking about going to Starbucks today, or you're thinking about, I don't know, going somewhere and spending some money, buying new clothes that you don't need, or buying a new pair of shoes that you don't need, or whatever. If you think about it that way, it'll just make you like want to DCA more. Troy McDaniel says, almost rewarded myself with a Rolex, but noobs like that as a first, not sure yet. You know, again, if you've done well for yourself, you want to treat yourself, that's fine. But if you don't spend that money on a Rolex and then it goes 5x, then you could buy 5 Rolexes in 2025. Man, 15-minute chart, RSI is extremely, extremely low. 13. So on the 15-minute chart, Bitcoin is extremely oversold. On the 1-hour chart, Bitcoin is also very oversold. I mean, it could dip down here, right around 36,000 and bounce, but it may not happen. It's oversold. 4-hour, not completely oversold, but it's not overbought either now. A lot of Rolex watch prices have gone down quite a lot. Now they're closer to being their MSRP price. But the rare ones still have not come down that much. But like let's say if you want to get a Submariner now, you could probably get one for 10 to 12K, and MSRP on them are like 8K. So they're getting closer. Before even a regular Submariner was like 20K. Can Vulcan Forge do a 20x? That's a lot. They're already at like 200 million. So can they do a 20x? Probably not. Not this cycle. Can they do a 10x to 2 trillion in market cap? Maybe. Yeah. But 20x is a little too much. DXY looking good. Let's see what the DXY. Yeah, 103. I haven't checked DXY in a while. Let's see, 1 month. Going down, 6 months. Yeah, it's starting to come down. It peaked at 107, and now it's 103. If we get sub 100 like this was a mini rally for crypto right around here, around July. If DXY goes below 100, that'll be very positive as well. But right now, Bitcoin has completely decoupled away from U.S. markets. So, yeah. We'll get back. Year to date, 121%. Zeus's. Is that how you spell it? Zeus's? Or Exusis? I don't know how to pronounce your name. With the X. When's the next sudden 5K dip? Okay, when you feel too greedy and everything's going up a little bit too fast, that's when the next 5K dip is. Okay, it always happens. And we'll see plenty of them. 5K dip is really nothing. We have seen it before plenty of times. Wait until there's a 10K dip. And that happens often too. Justin, U.S. Department of Justice to announce cryptocurrency enforcement actions today. I don't know what that means, especially when they're trying to settle with Binance for $4 billion. if that's what they're referring to. Is there some other news that came out? No. Sell Rolex and buy Bonk. Right now, this is how you could tell is not. Man, Bonk is down 22% today. That's not good. So you could tell right now we're not driven, although even down 22%, 200 million market cap is huge. This is how you could tell we're not in full-blown altcoin season because the meme coins are not doing well. Right now, you're seeing a lot of meme coins struggle, including the biggest ones like Doge and Sheep, and then even Pepe's not doing that well. You got Meme that's not doing that well. Bonk is okay. I mean, but they're not doing all that well. When they start flying again, that's how you know we're in full-blown altcoin season. That's when all the degens are back, and they're going to be buying everything left and right. Right, like right now, even Pepe's down 457 million market cap. So it's just not that time. It's not that time, but there will be a time. 2024, 2025, especially latter half of 2025, you're going to see all these pump to the moon. Micro caps will pump to the moon. Small caps, mid caps will pump to the moon. And these big caps in Bitcoin, they will already be at the moon. What happens to the money, according to crypto, or asked by Crypto Pooper? The money collected from the fines, they go straight into politicians' pockets. That's where they're going to. Bull City Sports Card, buying a depreciating asset can wait if your car works fine now. That's right. But, you know, sometimes you just want to upgrade. Sometimes you just want to do something for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you spend your entire life always penny pinching and never splurging, then what have you lived for, right? Like, you want to splurge sometimes. You want to go experience things that you may have never otherwise had the opportunity to do so. So I'm on the boat that people should splurge sometimes. They shouldn't spend their whole life saving, and then one day when they're already too old to enjoy most things in life. If they're like one day you wake up, you're 70 years old, you're not going to be doing some of the things you could do at 30 or 40 or 50, right? But you gotta not splurge too much. That's the problem with everyone. Everyone wants everything all the time, right? People just splurge on everything. You count how much you spend, say, on DoorDash or takeout or dining out, or how much you spend on coffee per year, how much you spend on subscription programs. You know, these are not even big things. But if you add all these together, there are thousands of thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands per year that you could be using to spend on investments at DCAing. So that's how I see it. Chris of the Cape, I don't advise anyone to take out a loan. But he said, I took out a loan of $45,000, bought 50% in Bitcoin, 20% ETH, and then nothing else. I don't advise anyone to ever take out a loan to buy crypto. No matter what. No matter how sure you are that it's going to go up, never take a loan. Never put down collateral to take a loan. Okay? Because you just don't know what may happen. And while you're waiting, you're paying interest, and the interest alone could kill you. If you can't afford to buy crypto, then you should not be in it. You should not be taking a loan. If you're taking a loan, that means you just can't. You can't afford it. You don't have extra money to be investing with, right? So don't do it. Don't do it. People are saying Bloomberg is reporting that Department of Justice is going to, I don't know, enforce some kind of action or something. I don't see it. Well, there's still this. This is, I mean, I don't know why this was tweeted 1 minute ago. Yeah, $4 billion, you know. What happened to Crypto Daily? I don't know. He just disappeared. He just disappeared. Brent says, we got a 2023 Z06 in my shop right now. It's a very impressive machine. Talk about ready to go race car from the factory. I would love to get a Z06. But all the dealerships, Chevy dealerships, mark them up so much. I'm like, no. But I also heard that those engines blow up. Like, there's a lot of problems with the engine. So I don't know. And the problem with the Z06 is, like, it looks too close to a normal Corvette. So to a general person, it doesn't matter if you're driving Z06 or not. It looks the same as a normal vet. So that kind of loses its appeal too. Because if you're going to spend that money on something special, you want people to recognize it. Retro Bill, that's a sad story. Retro Bill says, my uncle's Vanguard account made him a millionaire. He recently died without spending a nickel. Now his kids are fighting over it. See, this is the problem. Well, there's a couple problems there. Number one, kids, siblings that fight over parents' money or inheritance, that gets so ugly. It causes so much problems, right? I would never, ever, ever want my kids to be doing that. Okay, that's just horrible. Hopefully I'm teaching them right so that they learn how to share and they're not going to fight over money. And second, it sounds like your uncle never did anything with it, right? He spent his whole life saving it, made himself a millionaire, and he died. See, that's kind of sad, you know? You could argue, yeah, he made money for his family, but on the other hand, he basically just wasted his life. He didn't get any opportunity to really splurge and spend what he worked so hard at building, right? So that's why I say it's okay to splurge. It's okay to spend. Treat yourself a little bit, but just occasionally, not all the time. If you do it all the time, then it's a different story. Maybe that was his joy, knowing his family would be set up. You know, you like to think that. You like to think that was his whole life mission, to set up his family. And for some, that is their goal. But still, to not spend anything on yourself, I don't know. That seems kind of sad. At CryptosRus, it's dipping fast. No, it's not. It's really not. Unless we're dipping below 30,000 right now, it's not dipping fast. And you don't need to at me. How is this dipping fast when we were here just last week? When we were at 34.7 last week and we're at 36.4. How is this considered dipping fast? How is this considered dipping fast when we were at here just 1 month ago? Actually, less than 1 month. Right here, 33,000. Actually, if we go back 1 month, right here, right here. We go back 1 month ago, Bitcoin was below 30,000. Exactly 1 month ago. October 21st, Bitcoin was below 30,000. So how could you be worried when we're a full 20% higher from a month ago? You shouldn't be. If you are, then you're just too much of a noob and you need to calm down. You need to learn DCA is the way, and you should not try to outsmart the market. Unfortunately, too many people try to outsmart the market thinking, well, it's dumped down, 500 points, so I better sell it, and I better, try to time and buy it back. No, if you do that, you will lose. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. What you need to understand is this is a long-term game. There will be up and downs. When in doubt, zoom out and realize that we're doing just fine. Now, Bitcoin dumps all the way back down to 26.9. Okay, I'll give you that. That we're in a pretty serious crash. But right now, we are not. So, again, going back to what I was saying at the beginning, focus on the future, continue to hodl, and DCA, right? Let the gains come to you. Don't try to outsmart the market. And certainly, this is not time to be discouraged when we have so much coming, right, within the next few years. I mean, it's really amazing. Until I just did it myself, it's really amazing to think about that. 1 month ago, okay, October 21st of 2023, Bitcoin was sitting below 30,000. Just compute for that. Just compute that. 1 month ago, exactly, we were below 30,000. Okay, so if you're discouraged, you're like, uh-oh, everything's dumping. Just know that we're more than 20% higher than 1 month ago in October. And if you go back just a little bit further, we're at 26,000 mid-October. Right here. If you go back a little bit further in September, we hit 24.8. But those of you guys that were DCAing here, congratulations. You made a lot of gains since then. Right? So, right now is not the time to be discouraged. Yeah, I am streaming longer than usual, so I'm going to get out of here. All right, guys. So, buy the rumor, buy the news. According to Pantera, Capital CEO, I 100% agree. 100% agree. Okay? We have so much going on, so much goodness that will happen. This is definitely a time to be buy the rumor, buy the news when it comes to spot Bitcoin ETFs, and with the halving event, and with everything else that's going to happen in 2024. Okay, so stay strong, my friends. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. And last question, what do you think about Bake? I think they're okay. One of the biggest dexes out there. They're okay. And I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care.